The theme of this year is hope. And there is no more fitting manifestation of hope for a university than the hordes of new students whom we welcome to our campus and our community each academic year. The energy that sweeps across the campus with every new generation of UTers is infectious. What a wonderful sight to see all of these young people discovering the place that will be their new home in Twente. And I'm happy to say that despite the dark clouds gathering over the higher education sector, we have this year more students than last year. And that is also a hopeful sign. For the content, we are zooming in this year into chip technology, one of the 4 impact domains that we have defined as focal points for the UT in the coming years. And I'm really delighted that we have Jos Benschop with us today to deliver a keynote speech about the promise of and the potential of chip technologies. Jos is no stranger to this university. He is an alumnus of our university. He was the NNV Professor of Industrial Physics here, and he serves as Executive Vice President Technology at ASML, one of the key players worldwide in enabling chip technologies. Jos, we look forward to being inspired this afternoon by your insights from the industry perspective. We came back here to this Wilming Theater last year after a hiatus of a decade to highlight our commitment to and inextricable link with this region. The 2 mayors of the 2 sister cities here, Enschede and Hengelo, are also here. Thank you for joining us. We do so again, also in difficult times for the university, to step out of our own bubble and to draw strength from the support of this region, its businesses and its population. They were instrumental in the founding of our university, and they will be steadfast partners again in helping us navigate through stormy seas. Last year, we were here in the presence of the Minister of Education, Culture and Science, the then Minister of OCMW, Robert Dijkgraaf. The winds of change have raced across our landscape since last year's opening. We have since had elections, a new government has formed, and we're being confronted by a pretty bleak reality for higher education, with very significant consequences for aspects that we find essential for our mission as a university. Our open, inclusive, and international learning community is under threat from potential restrictions on international students. The sector is facing more than €500 million in funding cuts that will directly affect our community now and affect future generations of students. Important impulse financing, such as the National Growth Funds, has evaporated, making it increasingly difficult to create new solutions that help society and this country progress. Our commitment to Europe to invest 3% of our GDP in higher education seems further away than ever. But the challenges we face as a society call for more rather than less investment in knowledge and in new generations that can successfully overcome these challenges. Investing in the future sometimes seems difficult to explain, and we notice this especially in financially tougher times, where we tend to focus on the here and now. But it's the only way forward for our society. Investing in education is about the closest thing there is to a sure thing, and guarantees return on investment. I think it's fair to say that the boundary conditions have changed dramatically in the last year. But it's also good to realize that we're not alone in this, and that the higher education sector is fighting collectively against the measures. This morning was the alternative opening of the academic year on the Doomplein, where we have banded together to make our voices heard. We're also aware, of course, of the critical notes from society and are redoubling our efforts to highlight our contributions as universities to making meaningful impact for society's biggest problems. And you can see that in this short video.
Onze universiteiten helpen Nederland vooruit. Maar als het kabinet de bezuinigingen doorzet, kunnen we dit allemaal kwijtraken. Er staat veel op het spel. Nieuwe medicijnen die levens redden. Voedselzekerheid en een toekomst met schoon drinkwater. Het beste onderwijs. Economische groei en banen die onze regio's sterk houden. De bezuinigingen van het kabinet brengen de vooruitgang van Nederland ernstig in gevaar en dreigen wat we samen hebben opgebouwd te laten instorten. Laat dit niet gebeuren. Stop de bezuinigingen op onze universiteiten en wetenschap.
We are essential for this knowledge economy. And we're going to have to fight this together. We are behind the scenes, we are in front of the coulisses, as they say, so we're going to have to do this, and we will be calling upon you, our colleagues and students, to help us in this fight as we go forward. And in the light of all of this, you might ask, how does this all jive with the message of hope? At a time when we are facing major budget cuts within our university, when so much is uncertain, how can we speak of hope? And I lie awake at night, as I'm sure many of you do, thinking about the consequences for our community and for our people. But I take solace in the fact that we are a bunch of scrappy fighters who have continuously worked on pushing the envelope. We have an enormous amount to be proud of as pioneers. Our research has been pioneering, our campus is unique, we were the first to experiment with all sorts of educational innovations, the first broad propedeutic phase. We were the first to experiment with combining entrepreneurship with academics. We were the first to experiment with combining social and technical sciences. We were the first with a program in public administration. We've been innovating with the TOM model and challenge-based learning. We've started programs such as technical medicine, advanced technology, creative technology, and more. And every time we initiate new developments, other universities follow our example and copy us. We must be doing something right. This region is no stranger to adversity. This university rose from the ashes of the textile industry like a phoenix from the flames. This city banded together to resurrect itself after the fireworks disaster, and our mayor was instrumental in that process. At that time, he was the wethouder who was involved in the rebuilding. And I'm convinced that these circumstances will motivate us as a university community to reach deep down into our reservoirs of personal and institutional resilience and catalyze us to reinvent ourselves, to make sometimes hard choices, and to call upon our entrepreneurial creativity to focus on the core of what we are about. We are in this together, and we will face the challenges together and find the solutions together. Together, we will emerge stronger as a university community, as a vital pillar of this region, in partnership with civil society, the other knowledge institutions, and the tech and business community in this region. We are in this together, also in a broader sense. And that brings me back to chip technology and the hope that it represents. You've all heard or read about the government's Beethoven initiative to support the preeminent Dutch role in chip manufacturing, represented primarily by ASML. And while the center of gravity lies in the Eindhoven region, we in Twente, knowledge institutions, businesses in the region, the Twente board, are together acknowledged as vital contributors to this entire ecosystem. We can argue, and we do, about our fair share in this initiative, but it remains without doubt that our ecosystem here is essential to the vitality of the broader Dutch chip tech ecosystem. We've seen that in many ways, in our successful research in chip design, in our research on material science, in precision manufacturing and systems engineering, in nanotechnology, in fluid physics, you name it. But it's also in the young people we have educated who go on to playing important roles in this ecosystem. And I can't but help point to alumni such as Jos Benskop, who is here today, and the recently retired CTO of ASML, Martin van den Brink. They're all Twente graduates. And of course, in our long-standing associations with the industry, both in the Brainport region and here the suppliers, all of the companies that are so essential to the success of an ASML. In the course of this afternoon, we're going to hear from colleagues Sebastian Tiede and Dawson Bonneville and student Diana Andreoli about various aspects of chip technology, sorts of things that we're doing within our university. But first, I'm delighted to call to the podium Jos Benschop for his keynote speech from the industry perspective. Jos, may I ask you to join me up here?